What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and today, with mini camp starting to wrap up, right? This is going to be the last time we see the Jets kind of officially together until we hit training camp in the month of July. So I thought it was important to kind of see what are some of the coaches saying about the Jets, what their makeup might be, and who some of the leaders are, who some of the best talents are on the Jets. And you know what I find interesting? We are going to start with the same two dudes that are pillars on offense and defense, two guys who showed up to mini camp even though they are trying to rework, negotiate extensions with the green and white. We have been talking about it a lot as it relates to Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson, right? We've talked about how the salary cap relief could inspire Darren Muji to work with these extensions. We've talked about how the camps are actually in negotiations right now, and really how these guys show up still, are still all in, and what that says about the culture with Aaron Glenn, Muji, and the coaching staff. We have been talking also about how, Glenn has been really intentional, not only with the players, but he keeps on saying everybody in the building. And I think that extends to the coordinators. So I wanted to hear, what did the coordinators have to say about these two key guys? So let's start on the defensive side of the ball and talk about Sauce Gardner, who, remember, recently on Jets Latest, we talked about was rated by PFF as the number one cornerback in the NFL. So listen to what Steve Wilks has to say, kind of confirming that, but still looking to challenge, looking to push Sauce to another level. And we're going to be talking about unlocking that next level for these guys here on this episode. Listen to what Wilks had to say. He goes, "There's so many things that Sauce can do. He's been a Pro Bowl player. How consistent can he be to take it to the next level? That's one of the things where I challenged him on day one. He's one of the top corners in the league, but that consistency to be dominant each and every week is what we're looking for. He's a guy that sometimes at 85% is still better than everybody around him. So his thing, and I tell him, compete against yourself. That's where he can get better, and he will." I think that's interesting, right? Like, you have to coach these guys differently. When it's a rookie like AZ Thomas, maybe they're teaching techniques, right? But with a guy like Sauce, the way to find that next level when he's already an all-pro, when he's already ranked as the top corner in the league, really is about that consistency. And there is no denying, okay? PFF said it. I mean, his 91.9 grade for PFF is the best in the league since he entered the league in 2022, right? We also gave you stats about a league high in terms of incompletions, a league low in terms of yards per attempt or per cover snap, right? So he is undisputed as one of the top corners in the league. I think it's interesting that the way Wilks is challenging him to be unlocked to another level is really about bringing it consistently each and every week. You also heard Aaron Glenn earlier in the offseason talking about maybe he took a dip in tackling last year, right? And so even with a guy like Sauce, it's the idea that we can still, in fact, challenge him, and that is what we're looking for. Sauce Gardner, week in, week out. The other part here that I think is interesting, remember, I keep on talking about how Aaron Glenn played more man coverage in Detroit last year than any team in the NFL. So Sauce is going to have to be consistent because he's maybe going to be in man where he's amazing, right? Even more. So that's it for Sauce Gardner. The other guy on the other side, in the same year that Sauce won the Defensive Rookie of the Year, Garrett Wilson won the Offensive Rookie of the Year that year. Now listen to what Tanner Angstrand, the new offensive coordinator for the Jets, had to say about Garrett Wilson. He goes, "Clearly an elite athlete, and we're looking forward to him continuing to get a grasp of this offense to take it to the next level." And I mean, here's the thing. What's the next level for him? Garrett Wilson, I've been saying this on Jets Latest. I think he's one of the best receivers in the league, but for some reason, he's not respected and viewed and perceived as one of the best wide receivers in the league. But if you look at his stats, I mean, quite frankly, he is. Last year, 101 catches, fourth among wideouts, 1,104 yards, 10th among wideouts, 153 targets, fourth among wideouts. So he is a true alpha. And I always say that he had that 153 targets with Devontae Adams on the other side, who also had 141 targets. Now, when those are gone, yes, some of that's going to be spread around to guys like Josh Reynolds, guys like Mason Taylor, guys like Arian Smith all the top. But guess what? They have been talking about it in minicamp. They're going to try to get Garrett Wilson the ball as much as possible. We've been talking about the sure-handed qualities of Garrett Wilson. I mean, look at the catch right there in the picture, right? That highlight reel grab that he had last year. Garrett Wilson had only 4 drops, okay? And among wideouts who had 130 or more targets, only Amon-Ra St. Brown had fewer drops, right? So, I mean, clearly an elite guy at the wide receiver position. I've given you stats over from Stats Hub at FTN about like adjusted catch rate, right? On targets that came his way that are actually deemed catchable and his strength there. And here's the consistency part. Garrett Wilson has been in the league 3 years. In the last 3 seasons, there are only a small handful of wide receivers that have gotten 1,025 yards each of those 3 seasons. And here's my point here. When I tell you the other names of those wide receivers, these are guys that are widely respected as all-pro, top-of-the-food chain wide receivers. And for some reason, you don't think of Garrett Wilson that way. I mean, it's Amon-Ra, it's CeeDee Lamb, it's Jamar Chase, it's Justin Jefferson, it's A.J. Brown, it's guys like Devontae Adams. That's the list, okay? That's the entire list. You see it there. A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra, CeeDee, Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson. These are the guys we are talking about, and quite frankly, Garrett Wilson needs to be recognized in that class, and quite frankly, with his college teammate throwing him the ball this year, and as a new offense that he is understanding, an offense that Amon-Ra St. Brown flourished in over the last couple of years, I really think it's takeoff season for G5 Garrett Wilson, which is why, along with Sauce, we need to extend and pay them now before what can be even a 2025 season where they ascend even more. Like G5 is going to have the chance to showcase that even more. Sauce is going to have the chance to showcase that even more. I also want to talk about the running back room and what the next level is for that running back room. And it's interesting. Sometimes people throw shade to Breece Hall. Okay, he had a great rookie year, maybe a little bit of a down year with only 800 and something yards last year. But remember, that was a different offensive line than we have, a different game script than we have. And what I think is going to happen for the running back room, and this is important to note, I think it's going to be much better for the Jets, for the green and white, for our offense. I don't think it's going to be great necessarily for Breece Hall or his statistical production, for fantasy managers, maybe for him and his agent as they need to get a new contract moving forward. Listen to what Aaron Glenn had to say not only about Breece Hall, but about the entire running back room of the green and white. He goes, the first thing, they're all big physical men. And even though this isn't a physical camp, you can just see the way they run. All of them, low pad level. They can really run. The speed down the field. I am excited about all 3 of those guys. I really am. I don't know if there are 3 backs in the league that have the potential like these 3. He's talking about Breece Hall, clearly, Braylon Allen, who we've talked about here on Jets Latest, and Isaiah Davis. And here's the thing. I've talked about it on Jets Latest, how we think this offense may have a Detroit feel with Tanner Angstrand coming over. And I've compared Breece Hall and Braylon Allen to Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery over in Detroit, the Sonic and Knuckles. You hear about a thunder and lightning kind of combination all the time, right? Braylon Allen is huge. Braylon Allen has the success rate. You see it here, 51.1%. You see his kind of touchdown to carry ratio. Profile's great in that David Montgomery role, right? And then Breece Lightning in that lightning role, like Jahmyr Gibbs was, in terms of a better yards per carry, right? He's also a great receiving back. And even in what people thought was a down year last year, Breece Hall had a really good year out of the backfield. 483 receiving yards. That was 3rd among running backs. 57 catches, 4th among running backs. But what's also interesting is Aaron Glenn didn't stop there, right? He talked about Isaiah Davis as well. Isaiah Davis only was in a few games last year towards the end of the season. I remember a great game against the Dolphins, right? 63.3 success rate. And by the way, what that is staying on schedule, right? Like getting 4 more yards on first down, getting half of the down and distance to go on second down, converting on 3rd and 4th down. Isaiah Davis was great at that last year in limited duty. And don't forget, Donovan Edwards, the undrafted free agent out of Michigan has been flashing as well at camp. There's many people that believe he can make the roster. He, with a speed that he has, with the chops out of the backfield that he has. Remember, he had a great Big Ten championship game with Michigan a couple of years ago. He was on the cover, for goodness sakes, of the EA Sports college video game, right? So, he has potential as well. And I think it's important that Aaron Glenn is mentioning all of those guys, the potential of the room, the depth that we have. Breece Hall is still going to be the lead, in my opinion, of course, and he's a very good back, but Braylon Allen's going to have a role, maybe that knuckles, short yardage, goal line kind of role. Again, Aaron Glenn and the offense being very intentional, so we like the running back room in collaboration, as it were, as well. That'll do it for this episode here of Jets Latest. Remember, as always, watch these videos, like the videos, subscribe to the channel, tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend. Feel free to hit me up in the comments. I try to engage with you guys back and forth all the time as we talk to green and white. You could also engage with me on social media, Twitter, X. I am at Spittin' Speeds. Hit me up in the DMs. Hit me up in my timeline. I will love to continue talking to you guys about the Jets, Jets. And if you want to hear more from me, Spittin' Statistician Dane Martinez, I am the host of the FTN Fantasy Show over on Sirius XM Radio, channel 87. We do more than just talk the Jets. It is the fantasy channel. So now as the summer gets going, it's going to be fantasy football draft season coming up pretty soon. And I am here to help you win your leagues and win that cash. I've been doing it for a long time, getting people paid in fantasy football. We talk NBA finals, we talk fantasy baseball, all sorts of stuff over on channel 87 on Sirius XM, the FTN Fantasy Show. FTN is a great website with a lot of great content and a lot of great tools and data simulations to help you be a better sports bettor and a better fantasy football player. But now that minicamp has wrapped up, we will be back next week talking more about the Jets as we look forward to training camp in July and really how this team is organizing for what should be a very fun and exciting and moving up 2025 for the Jets. We'll do all of that next week. But for now, y'all have a great weekend. We out of here. Peace.